Hi, I'm Mike Maloney. One of the things I hear most often from my customers is, okay, you've got me convinced already. I need to buy gold and silver, and I need to buy it right now, but what do I do next? How do I buy? What form do I buy? Well, one of the most important things to remember is to buy real gold and silver, not fool's gold and silver. You need to buy gold and silver coins and bars that you could hold in your hand. Now, you don't have to hold them in your hand. We can store them for you, or we can deliver them to your door. But you want to get real gold and silver. There's a lot of forms of gold and silver out there that I consider fool's gold and fool's silver. Number one is the exchange-traded funds. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them, and I can't throw them very far. So buy real physical gold and silver. The other things to watch out for are pool accounts and certificates. I don't believe that these have all the gold and silver to back them up. When you're investing in a pool account, basically you're investing in futures contracts. So you're getting price exposure again to gold and silver. You're not getting the real thing. After that, there's numismatic coins or collector coins. Now, when you're buying a numismatic coin, you could be paying many, many times the actual gold content or silver content in this coin because you're paying for the rarity and how much somebody else covets that particular coin. A lot of the value is determined by finding the exact right buyer for that coin, whereas bullion coins and bars their price is derived by the worldwide spot price, and at any given moment there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of buyers out there. The other thing about numismatics or collector coins is that under certain scenarios, for instance, if we had a big deflation, you could have hundreds of thousands of these coin collections hit the market all at the same time when it comes down to, well, do I let go of the house first or do I let go of the coin collection? It's going to be the coin collection. And so when these all hit the market at the same time, you could find that all that numismatic premium could just suddenly disappear. So this coin that you paid maybe $5,000 for, or you paid $100,000 for it, you could see that suddenly fall to the gold content value. While gold and silver, real, physical gold and silver bullion coins or bars might be doubling, tripling, quadrupling in price. They could be going north, while your collector coin loses most of its value. Now, what form of physical gold and silver bullion coins and bars to buy largely depends on how big your purchase is. If you're eventually going to have more than $1 million worth of gold and silver, in that case, I like the big commodities exchange bars, such as 1,000-ounce bars of silver, 400-ounce bars of gold, or 100-ounce bars of gold. These have the narrowest bid-ask spread, the difference between the price at which we sell gold and silver to you and we buy it back from you. So it's very efficient. They're also very, very liquid. When it's on the exchange, we can buy it and sell it at any time. Now, we don't recommend keeping it in exchange vaults, though. If there was a default on the commodities exchange, and there have been defaults in the past, with like London a few years ago, the London Metals Exchange, they had a default on nickel. You don't want your metals in the commodities exchange vault because, they'll make the plans on what you're going to do with your metal. Anyway, it's safest to have it out of there. However, I believe down to the core of my being that silver will go over $100 an ounce one day. I'm not guaranteeing it for you, but this is what I believe. But there's entirely the possibility that you could see silver over $1,000 an ounce. And that sounds crazy, I know, but all you have to do is study the fundamentals underneath silver and then study a little bit of monetary history, and you will find that crazier things have happened quite often in the past. So there really is this possibility that you could see silver above $1,000. Now, if you have a 1,000-ounce bar of silver, that's $1 million bar. When you go to liquidate your position, you have to liquidate it $1 million or greater at a time. So for orders that would, if you're eventually going to have gold and silver, but it's less than $1 million worth, ultimately, that you're going to have, then I suggest smaller increments such as 100-ounce bars. This is a Johnson Matthey bar. Make sure you get bars that are from known refiners. recognized refiners, such as Johnson Matthey, Engelhard, and so on. They have a hallmark on the bar. There's a serial number. There's a weight and a fineness stamped right into the bar. So you have basically a certificate of authenticity right on the bar. Then you have the 10-ounce bars are next. And again, they have the weight and the fineness right on the bar. And both of these things stack very well in a safe. But I think my favorite is when you get down to just the 1-ounce government minted coinage. This is a silver, American Silver Eagle, again, 1 troy ounce fine silver, and this is a Canadian maple leaf, and it says 1 troy ounce, 999 fine silver right on it. The reason I like these coins is currently the IRS, dealers have a certain requirements that they have to comply with the IRS. And currently there's something called 1099B broker reporting. Any time we purchase back from you, from the consumer, when we purchase back more than 1,000 ounces of silver or 1 kilo of gold, a kilo is 32.15 ounces, we have to do a 1099 broker reporting form. The IRS gets a copy, you get a copy. Now I need to be very clear here. This has nothing to do with your taxes. This is just what the IRS requires of us. You have a responsibility to file your capital gain tax, and we do want you to seek proper tax advice. We don't give tax advice here. What we're talking about is just our responsibility to the IRS. So when you sell back more than 1,000 ounces of silver or 1 kilo of gold, we have to report that to the IRS. And then there's certain items that were traded as commodities contracts back in the 80s that also require reporting. That's the reason I don't particularly care for these. This is a $500 face value bag of $500 face value bag of silver quarters. This is called old junk coinage, U.S. junk coinage, 90% silver coinage. These were the $1,000 face value bags were traded as commodities contracts back in the 80s and require 1099 reporting. Also, people keep these around. I've got a few of them. I keep them around. I wouldn't buy any more of them. People tend to think that it would be good emergency coinage if there was a currency crisis. Well, during a currency crisis, you're going to hear the price of gold and the price of silver hourly on the radio and on television. And a dime weighs 0.072 ounces. A quarter is 2.5 times that, whatever that is. A silver dollar is about 0.77 ounces. So you're hearing the per ounce price on the radio. If you have an American Silver Eagle or a Canadian Maple Leaf or an Austrian Philharmonic, they say right on them, 1 troy ounce, 999 fine silver. And so that's what the gas station attendant just heard on the radio. He knows exactly what this is worth. He has no clue what a dime is worth or a quarter. So I don't particularly like these. Another thing about the broker reporting, when it comes to gold, there are 3 government minted coins that do trigger 1099 broker reporting because they were also traded as commodities contracts back in the 80s. And that is the Mexican Onza, Canadian Maple Leaf, and the Krugerrand. So when you get to 25 of those coins, when you're selling them back to a dealer, that requires the 1099 broker reporting. But again, American Eagles, Austrian Philharmonics, the Australian Lunar Series, there's a whole bunch of government coins out there that you can buy, and we have we're not required by the IRS to report that. When you buy your silver coins, this is a case of Canadian maple leaves, and there's 20 tubes of 25 each in here. So this is 500 ounces. When it's shipped to you, everything arrives by U.S. Postal Service in a priority mail box. It's fully insured, it's registered, And believe it or not, registered mail is the absolute safest way for us to get it to you, and it's very discreet. You don't want a big old armored car pulling up in front of your house. So we've shipped thousands and thousands of cases of gold and silver to people through the mail, and it's perfectly legal. In fact, the U.S. Postal Service delivered all of the gold to Fort Knox back in the 30s. The U.S. Silver Eagle comes in a really nice case. There's 25 tubes of 20 each in here. It says West Point Mint on it, United States Mint. So again, this is sort of like a certificate of authenticity. The value currently doesn't change when you cut these straps, but I would imagine that in a blow-off top, if you want to sell them when there's a frenzy, if this is open, the dealer has to open every single tube and thumb through them and make sure there's no washers and things in here. He's got to make sure it's all U.S. Silver Eagles. If the straps are on it, that dealer will just buy it back as is. So I think there could be a slight difference in the price if everybody's super busy and nobody has time to count individual coins. Now, when you get this is a box that's already been opened. There's an audit slip here that's got the count of all the coins, and it's signed by somebody at the mint. It's got the date on it and everything. This is a case that we've been using, so there's a few tubes out of it here, but it's got this nice tray. Again, 25 tubes of 20 each. And again, it arrives in the U.S. mail. So with gold, again, 400-ounce bars, 100-ounce bars in large accounts, smaller accounts. I like the smaller increments, especially the coinage. Also, government coinage can develop a premium when there's a frenzy to get gold and silver. They have a premium when you buy it. They always cost a little bit more than bars of gold and silver, but you get that premium back when you sell it, at least most of it, and then sometimes when gold and silver is in really high demand and there's a shortage, because mints only have a certain capacity, there's fewer coins out there than there are bars of gold and silver that have been poured. So they develop a premium, and we saw this just recently where several of the government-minted coins developed a significant premium over bars of gold and silver. So there's a few advantages there, but here's the main thing. When there's a frenzy, there's shortages that go on. And if dealers don't have the particular item that you want, buy something, because it's better to have gold and silver than to not have it. And don't be afraid of things like 1099-B reporting and stuff. Right now, I think the most dangerous thing to be invested in is U.S. dollars, especially something like a 30-year Treasury bond. So be careful, get invested in gold and silver, and thank you very much for listening.